Hello there, Seb here from Motorhome Dealer Group, and welcome to this video guide on the CBE PC220 control panel that you see here in front of me. This one is Knaus branded. This video guide is going to explain how to use this control panel and explain what the buttons do and how to access the different sort of menus, and also how to interpret the information it presents to us. This video is not going to cover any troubleshooting or problem solving, so if you are experiencing issues with your control panel, please consult your instruction manuals or seek the help of a technical professional. This video really is just a quick start guide to get you up and running using this control panel in your leisure vehicle. So let's get started. So let's talk by explaining the layout of the control panel. So as you can see, we have a screen, an LCD screen here to the left with 3 buttons below it. There are also a couple of inset symbols here, which we'll also explain what they do a little bit later. And then you have a circle here that comprises of 4 buttons. We have a central power button and then 3 buttons surrounding it. So let me show you how to turn the panel off. You simply press and hold the power button. So that's nice and simple. To turn the panel on, we press and hold the button, the power button, and you see we get a screen test and an audible tone, and then the panel comes to life. Now we have some buttons here. This is what the panel would look like normally when it turns on with nothing else enabled. So as you can see, we just have the power symbol illuminating there. These buttons around the outside, the 12-volt button here, this provides additional power to things like the lighting, your hob, your cooker and so on, maybe even your heating and hot water. It's just an additional 12-volt circuit that can be enabled there, as you can see. This one here can either be your awning light or an entranceway light, like it is in this particular instance. And then at the top here, you can see we have a tap symbol that turns on the power to your water pump. Now, if I turn the panel off again, okay, so that's the panel now shut off. Watch what happens when I turn the panel back on. So we get the lights check. And then once that check has been done, you'll notice during that sort of self-test, the entryway light did immediately come on. Once the self-check was completed, these other functions came back on. These sort of remember whether they were left on or off. So they're more like toggle buttons or toggle switches, essentially. So if you do leave your water pump on and just turn the panel off, the next time you turn your panel back on, the water pump will come back on again. But it's very easy to see if these functions are enabled because, as you can see, their symbols do illuminate when that is the case. So that's the buttons there. Let's now look at the information on the LCD screen. So the most prominent feature you can see here is the clock. So that's showing you the time there. And then above that, we can have a series of different symbols. At the moment, we have a picture of a plug going into a plug socket. So that's indicating to me that we are plugged into mains electric hookup. To the right of that symbol, you can see some other symbols appear. If you see what appears to be 2 batteries joined together by a cable, that symbol means that the batteries are charging in parallel. Now this can be triggered by either the engine running, which is going to be typically on most leisure vehicles charging both your leisure and vehicle batteries, so therefore that would cause the parallel charging symbol to appear. But also if you potentially have something like a battery mate or other charging technology on your vehicle to split charge both batteries at the same time, that may also trigger that symbol to appear. And to the right of that symbol, there can also be another one that is a symbol of a, well, it looks like a letter G, essentially, in a sort of shape. And that will appear when the engine is running. There is another symbol that can appear to the far left top corner here as well. It looks similar to a light bulb, really. And this is to indicate that the low voltage protection mode has kicked in, and I'll explain what that is in a little bit. So that's the symbols that can appear at the top. And on the left of the screen here, you can see we have 2 bar or segmented graphs here. One is a picture of a water tank. That's your fresh water tank. So this is indicating your fresh water tank level on the left. And then we have a battery with a motorhome body inside of it. This is your leisure battery. So that is your leisure battery energy level or voltage level showing on the right side there. So just a nice quick reference of both of those two important levels, your tank, freshwater tank, and your battery. So then these three buttons here have additional function, of course. So if we press the degree C button here, this is going to show us the temperature. And it is showing us the internal temperature as indicated by the I there. If I press it again, we see E, so this is the external temperature. And you can now see that shown just there. And I'll press again and we're back to the main screen. We have a similar feature for the battery levels. That's this middle button here. So if I press that, we get to see the leisure battery voltage indicated both on that segmented graph, but also a number just there. If I press it again, we're now looking at the vehicle battery. It's a picture of a battery with a truck or a low sort of flatbed truck in the battery symbol there. So that's the vehicle battery, and you can see both again indicated as a segmented LCD graph there, but also as the voltage just there. And then again, another press, and we're back to the main screen. So that's how you check your battery levels. And then lastly, we have water tanks just here. The first press is going to be your freshwater tank level, and that is indicated just there. These gauges will move in 10% increments. And then press it again, we have the wastewater tank just there, and that is indicating again in 10% increments. Press once more, and we're back to the main screen. So that's the simple stuff there. There are some alarms that can trigger on this panel. So the first one is going to be your vehicle battery alarm. So if your vehicle battery voltage drops below 12 volts, then you're going to see the symbol appear just here and you're going to get an audible tone. And that should turn off when the voltage increases above 12 volts again. You'll also get an alarm for the leisure battery voltage. If it drops below 11.5 volts, you'll get the leisure battery symbol appear and you'll get a single beep. If the battery voltage continues to drop off and gets below 10.5 volts, the same thing will happen. You'll get the leisure battery symbol appear, but you'll also get 2 beeps to indicate that that's happening. Okay, now those leisure battery low warning alarms will turn off when the voltage increases back beyond 12.5 volts again. Now, there is a low voltage protection mode on this panel. I mentioned it briefly earlier. This will shut off your pump, your lights, your hob, and some other functions when the battery voltage gets to 10 volts or lower. And that's when the bulb symbol will appear in the top left here. So this is when you're getting critically low, and this is kind of a safety protection for your battery and electronics there. So that will kick in at 10 volts. If that happens, but you do still need to access some functionality, you can press this button here and you will get 1 minute of full functionality before it then goes back into the protective mode again. This is all according to the manual as well, so this is where I'm getting this information from. The panel will turn itself off completely if the battery voltage drops below 9 volts, and then you're completely switched off until you can get the battery charged back up again. Now, the water tank alarms can trigger as well. So if your water tank starts to get low, I think that's around 20%, then that will trigger an alarm as well. And also your wastewater tank, when that's starting to get full, that will trigger an alarm or an alert on the panel too. So you should get an audible tone and maybe a flashing symbol up on the panel as well. Now, there are some settings that you can access as well. That's what these inset symbols are referring to. To access this, you are going to press and hold the degree C button until you see the word time. And if I press the up or down arrows, I'm basically selecting between time or full. And what this is basically asking me is, are you just wanting to change the clock, or do you want to change some other settings? So if I just choose time by pressing now the degree C button, which is an enter or select button now, if I press that, I'm able to change the time. So I can move up or down to change the hours, press the enter button, move up or down to change the minutes, press the enter button, and that's now set, and we're back to the main screen. However, if I wanted to change other settings, I would access the menu in the same manner, but I would now choose full. and select that. Firstly, again, I can change the clock. Then I can change the backlight color. So we can choose the backlight color to our desire here. And then if I go on, we can choose whether or not we want the audible alerts on. So if I choose that to off now, you'll notice now we don't get any sounds when we are touching the panel. We can then calibrate the internal temperature and the external temperature. And then we can also calibrate the leisure battery voltage and the vehicle battery voltage. And then if we want to save the settings, we choose save or no. I'm going to choose no. And as you can see, because I've said no, the panel beeps have now come back on as well as a result. So that's how you access those features there. If I did make changes that I wanted to save, I would just select my way through and change the settings I needed to, and then when you get to save at the end, you would just choose save, and that will of course save the settings. And there we go. That's how to use the CBE PC220 control panel. I hope you found this video useful. I'm Sev, and thank you very much for watching.